Tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hey, Lashy Kids and Driving Mutants. Let's see who is in the chat. So far, Tony T is here saying hello to everybody. Tony Man says, hey, Tony T, how are you? Let me skip over that. You guys are talking amongst yourselves. Trash Jazz says, what's up at Rainbow Fright? And then she also says, hey there, Danny. Fominky Latte is in the house. She says, hey, y'all. What's up, folks? And then Sidewinder is here, too. What's up? They say, hey, peeps, I have some special guests in the house tonight. I'm so happy they're here. Let me put them on the screen. We're going to just do it like that.
Yay.
One shot.
There we go. Yeah, because like I said, I have the free version. I can't do all the extra bells and whistles with that.
No fireworks.
No. So I'm going to just introduce everybody straight across the top and then the bottom. First, we have Tracker Chaos. He's with us.
What's up, guys?
Rainbow Fright is here.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Julian is here.
Hey, guys.
LD Madera Magic is here.
Hey, good to see everybody.
And by the way, LD has a pretty good TikTok page, so we want to check that out too. And last but certainly not least, Master of Chaos is here.
Thank you very much for having me. And I'm bringing my Crown Royal apple drink to enjoy tonight. I'm celebrating, and we'll talk about celebrations towards the end. I'll save all that stuff for later.
This is the reason why I'm looking the way I'm looking also, because it is Lunar New Year, and it's always good luck to wear red on Lunar New Year. So that's why I'm trying to get all the luck possible. And I'm
Nice.
joining him. This is Margaritaville Tropical Punch. I haven't tried it yet, but we'll see.
Nice.
Nice.
It was on sale. I said, okay, I'll try that. We are going to get into some movie reviews, and the first one that we're going to do is going to be Puppet Master, the original Puppet Master. And I'm going to show you guys the trailer for it. It's odd. I can't see the title on there. Hold on.
By the way, are we allowed? I mean, you know, the whole new YouTube paradigm. Are we allowed to curse, or should we say fudge and shoot?
I'm not monetized, so do whatever.
All right.
Hell, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Shit ass fuck dick. No, okay.
Was that an actual quote from summer school?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so if I hit this way, will we go to the side and still? Yeah, that's the way I want it.
There
Okay.
we go.
Nice.
In a house of mysteries,
This hotel seems to have quite a history, Mr. Kelly.
Who are you both?
a research team with special powers
Did it freeze?
She's experiencing
Oh, there we
the
go.
past because we are all joined by our thoughts.
has uncovered an ancient secret.
I have something I want to show you.
Metaphysically speaking, I killed myself.
But they are playing with an evil force.
What would you do with the power?
You can't save her, Alex.
They have given life to a deadly power.
We're all in danger.
And now a box of little toys
I think someone's in the room, Frank.
has become a gang of little terrors.
Oops, I didn't notice that when I edited this. Oh,
You can block it out later. You can blur it
Yeah.
later.
Jester
Oh my
and
gosh, those
Tunneler.
slugs. Leeches.
Irene Miracle, Paul the Map, Barbara Crampton, and William Hickey
Barbara
as
Crampton.
I know. I was like, Crimpton,
the
what?
Puppet Master.
She's
2
in
minutes.
it,
She
but
was she was only in it for just a moment, but they didn't hesitate
Cameo.
to say, yeah.
yeah. I like how the voice of the trailer guy was like, a box of little toys, like he could give two shits.
He couldn't believe it while he was reading the copy for the
Yeah,
ad.
he's like, what the hell's going on?
He's like, ugh.
The 90s.
So who wants to go first, or should I go first? I don't know how we usually work this.
You pick a direction, or you can start and then point the direction, or you can save yourself for last. However you feel you'd like to proceed.
I'm going to start with let's do Rainbow Fright. How about you go first?
Oh man, come on, man. Don't do it like
Okay,
that.
wait, because this is your first Full Moon Fright Club. We'll do. How about Master of Chaos? You go first then.
Okay. Puppet Master. You know, this was one of the reasons I started this whole panel thing is because Full Moon was a big deal for me. You know, I grew up. I've said in previous episodes, just reiterating for Rainbow Fright and Lady Shasha's audience here. Full Moon meant a lot to me, and it was the reason I wanted to be a filmmaker. Puppet Master was a big part of that because Puppet Master was their big franchise. This was like their keystone item, their keystone series of characters. The first one was, I don't think, anybody's favorite. I don't think the first one is memorable enough to be the favorite, and it's also the most watered down version because, I mean, I'm rewatching the series for another reason, which I'll talk about towards the end, but none of the movies really feature the puppets, and this one features them the least.
Mhm.
Well, actually, no, I take that back. There's one that features them the least, but we'll talk about that maybe some other time. Let me just look at my notes here real quick. Okay, so basic plot. A group of psychic friends reunite at Bodega Bay, a seaside hotel where the secrets of life after death reside within the walls, thanks to the power of alchemist Andre Toulon. We didn't know what he was. Later on, he gets retconned. But anyway, he's an alchemist according to this movie. And his immortal puppets. The puppets won't accept just anyone as the new master, but when they do, they'll kill whoever stands in the way of their new master. You don't really get a good look at the puppets in this entry. It's mostly POV kind of stuff, which sucks because they actually had David Allen on this one, and he could have actually done some really good puppet work. When they do show up, it's impressive. Again, thanks to David Allen. It's not my favorite in the franchise. But it's an interesting one for killer dolls because the dolls here are actually dolls. They're little, they're not like Chucky where you could swap out a dwarf and have him run around and it works. You can't really do dwarves for these guys. That's why by virtue of filmmaking, the kills have to look stupid because they're little, like Barbie doll size. So it's weird. It's an actual killer doll movie, which we haven't really had up until this point. Well, I guess Full Moon, Empire did do dolls, which had dolls in it, but that was different because they had different kinds of dolls. Anyway, it sets the template, but everything that happens in this movie, I feel, gets retconned later on, so it doesn't even matter what happens in this movie. It's almost like you can just throw this one away and ignore it, because to me, the franchise really starts with the second one. But overall, it's not a bad movie, but it's very boring. It's just psychic people talking in a room, and then the camera swoops around. Whoa, camera! Whoa, what's happening? But there's no real tension, because you've seen the poster. The puppets are there. You just want to see the damn puppets, and all we're getting is some horny psychic lady or a horny couple of, I guess they're psychics. It's a very sexy movie. It's a very horny movie, which I rewatched this with my son, and I had forgotten that element of the movie. And I'm like, oh my God, what, these people have fucking again? What's happening? Yeah. It's an interesting killer doll movie because it's not exactly what you expect it to be, but it also doesn't deliver the goods like you want it to. That's my opening thoughts. I'll leave it there for right now.
LD, what did you think?
Well, this was actually my first time watching this movie. And, I really got to agree a lot with what Master Chaos is saying. I wanted more doll action. I did like how when the movie starts, it gets you into the story right away. Like, I like how we see the hotel back in 1939, I think the year was. Although I did think it was kind of weird that you see the POV of this puppet running around everyone, but nobody sees it. There's like one lady in a hallway that gets scared, but that's like the only person that sees this puppet that's clearly running around in front of them. But anyway, but what made me laugh though is that there was one point during that same sequence where the dog gets kind of like hit by a door or something like that, and then you actually hear birds chirping. So it's kind of like, okay. So is this going to be like a Warner Brothers cartoon? Is this supposed to be a funny film? I did think the puppets looked cool. I especially liked, I guess, who we could call the main puppet. What's his name? Blade? Is that the name? Yeah. I thought Blade was definitely my favorite looking puppet. I was not a big fan of the sexy psychics. That just kind of felt like, for me, that was just kind of like thrown in there. And I feel like for me, there were like a lot of questions that weren't really answered for me. Granted, I know that there's like a couple of other movies in the franchise, so I'm sure a lot of those questions probably get answered in the later movies. But like at the very, very end, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but the very end, maybe I shouldn't say it because I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, so I'll hold off on that. I thought the actress playing the wife of the Gallagher character, I wasn't a big fan of. Like they go into the dining room and she sees all the people dead, and there's just kind of like no reaction to that. I'm like, okay, you're not going to react to that. There were some cool parts that I liked. Like I like how, I guess the head psychic guy, I forget his name, but like he's going through his dream and then he wakes up and he sees the 3 heads on the bed. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a cool little scare there because, oh, he's awake from his dream. Oh, no, he's not. And there's that. I also got a laugh when we saw Blade just like looking through the keyhole and seeing the sexy psychics and its eyes go bing. You know, that was like a funny little thing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought it was fine. You know, I was hoping for a lot more. I definitely wanted a lot more with the puppets, but you know, there was only like one cool kill that I thought was really cool. But yeah, that's my first impressions of it.
What'd you think, Julian?
You know, like LD, this was actually the first time I saw Puppet Master, which is weird. You know, growing up watching these movies with Tracker and Master, and this is one of those movies where the box art sitting on the shelf, walking through Blockbuster. It really stands out to me, and it'll be as a young teen, I go to grab and pick it up and think, oh my god, this like you just get drawn and I want to watch it, but for some reason or another, I never watched it. I just never got to it, and watching it, I agree with Master in that it's slow, it's diluted, there's not a lot happening very fast. But I took more exception with the idea that you had that kind of slow environment, that's the kind of slow pace, paired with what seemed to be like a jamming together of two cool ideas. Like you have the psychics on one side, and then you have like animated dolls who kill. Like just it didn't seem like it matched well, like it was paired together with any kind of reason. Like this psychic didn't seem to like have anything to do with the dolls. The dolls didn't have anything to do with the psychic other than just the animation. But and while it wasn't as enjoyable as I would hoped it would be, being thinking back as a young teen, looking at this box and thinking there's so much exciting promise on this box art. I don't think it was a bad movie. It just I feel it just limped into what it tried to do. It really set out to kind of do just something fun, and I'm someone who likes to read a lot of comic books, and what I like about comic books is they experiment a lot there. They do things that they can't do in movies, they can't do in bigger productions. And with Puppet Master, they tried to do that. They tried to have dolls coming in and attacking, and just that edge that you don't see in a lot of films. And I think they could have done better, but it's mostly with like pacing and connecting themes and really getting from point A to point E or F without skipping any letters in between.
I could see that. What did you think, RainbowFRIGHT?
So yeah, this was also a first watch for me, and it was definitely slow in the beginning. It was fun at the very start when we have that first scene go down with Blade and Toulon. And then it just kind of slows down, and the pacing kind of has some issues there. Then I started to have fun again, more toward the second half of the film, especially when Pinhead makes his appearance. I really loved Pinhead, but I would have to also say that Blade is probably also my favorite puppet. He's just strangely cute. Once we get into the second part of it, when things start to come together a little bit, I started to have fun with it. And I also thought that Barbara Crampton's character was just kind of exploited, because it says special appearance by Barbara, and it's just kind of like, okay, so you were lucky enough to get her, and this is how you're going to use her, and it just didn't move the story forward. And she had this special power, and it was more times than not her feeling something sexual in the room versus anything about puppets or
Oh no. Sorry to interrupt. Barbara was a cameo appearance in the beginning of the movie. She wasn't the sexy psychic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the girl that was talking to the clairvoyant at the fair or at the carnival.
Oh, okay. I was
so she had like two lines.
Seem right that she's like just out there, just showing herself like that. But
I mean,
okay, she did kind of look like her, right?
Yeah, I can see they favor each other.
Yeah. Okay.
I
I'm
think
not
that's
sure.
probably why she was cast, is because they probably originally wanted Barbara for that. Because Barbara was
Yeah.
naked in so many movies of the 80s. They were like, well, we need somebody to get naked. Let's
Yeah.
what's her name? Is not available. Oh, why am I drawing a blank? Homegirl from Return of the Living Dead. She was in so many.
Linnea
Linnea.
Quigley.
Linnea Quigley. Linnea's not available. Go get Barbara. She was usually one of those two. If
Yeah,
you
the
needed a
default.
naked lady.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie Band
Okay,
put
so I
her
take that
is
part
naked
back.
in
They
most of
didn't
the
exploit
movies.
Barbara.
They did not. But he went on
Yeah.
to exploit her in other movies, because Charlie
course.
Band went
Yeah.
on to make, From Beyond is one of her tittiest movies.
Mhm.
Oh,
But,
okay.
anyway,
Said that on a resume.
Hideous.
Hideous movies.
Yeah.
And the Titties Movie
but-
Award goes to.
At the end of it, though, I ended up enjoying it. The last scenes with the kills were fun. Again, Pinhead with his, choking hands was just kind of fun to see. And then, or are we spoiling the movie? We can talk about spoilers within the movies, right?
I think so. The movie's what,
yeah.
30
It's old
years
enough.
old now? Yeah, it's old enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I was glad to see Neil Gallagher get his at the end, even though they strangely kill all the magicians, which I thought was weird to call them magicians, because to me they were just witches and warlocks, not necessarily magicians, or just witches, period. And then on your point, LD, I actually did like the character who played Gallagher, because it was kind of like an interesting character. And I thought she played it well, because you don't really know where she's coming from. You're kind of hesitant of her and wondering what her motives are, but you can't really read it. But then, as the story goes on, we learn that she's actually also in the dark, just kind of like the audience is. And so we're kind of won over in that way. So she was probably the character that I actually enjoyed the most. So yeah, those were my first thoughts on Puppet Master.
What do you think, TC?
Well, the Puppet Master series in general, I've always liked. The first one definitely wasn't my favorite. I would say, for me, my favorite is the third one. This one, even though it's not the best, but I don't think it's the worst, because after you get past part 5, you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I agree with what everybody said. It is the pacing of this one isn't that, like, it's been a while since I've seen it last, and the pacing, I don't recall it being this sluggish. But nor do I remember the puppets being in it so little. It feels like, I think the two best things of this movie are the poster and the score. So, but yeah, but overall Puppet Master, I mean, I did like it. Although of the 3 that we saw for this video, it's definitely, I would say it's my number 2 on the list.
I just want to ask you something real quick, TC. When you were talking about how you don't remember it being this slow.
Yeah.
When you watch it originally, because I didn't have the luxury of watching it when I was younger, does the memory feel like it was that much faster, more exciting? And
I think
they
I remember
blend
being
together.
Yeah. I mean, I think if the first time around it didn't feel like that, I guess because it was a new thing, and it was, I guess I absorbed it better, more positively the first time around. But then seeing it again now, recently, I can feel the impact, or the sluggishness of the impact of that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The second one, I think, the second one left a bigger impression on. If I can speak for you as well, TC, I think that one definitely left a bigger impression on us. Not only because it's got an amazing performance by a lovely young lady who goes above and beyond in what I'm seeing, but it's a better movie overall.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree.
But then 3 is the masterpiece. But then that's another
one. I think, yeah.
I see this movie through nostalgia glasses, because I think I was the perfect age to watch it. I didn't see it when it first came out, but I saw it whenever it first came on cable. I remember I think I was a freshman in high school, and I saw this on cable, and I had not seen the box art, so I had no idea. I just saw Puppet Masters coming on next. I don't know whether it was HBO or Showtime or whatever it was, and I was like, well, that sounds interesting, and I just started watching it, and I mean, I love killer doll movies. Clearly, Chucky is like my favorite. So if you have killer dolls, I'm there. Some other things I liked about this was that it wasn't teenagers. I liked that they went with people that were like mid 30s, early 40s, and up. And I like when they do that because there's different types of victims you can have in a movie. It doesn't always have to be some kids in the woods. So I like that. And I like the setting. Even though it's a miniature that they made, it looks a lot like some resort hotels that we have here in Florida on the coast, specifically William Flagler, which is now Flagler College, but it was a resort hotel, and it looked very similar to the scale model that they used in this one. And I thought that was pretty cool. I also noticed that I was going to say it had a decent budget compared to how Full Moon became in later years. This one looked the most cinematic, but I found out it was because they initially wanted to be released in the movie theaters. And then at the last moment, they ended up releasing it on video because they thought they would end up making more money that way. I like the work with the puppets. Some of it, I believe, was actual puppetry, but some of it was stop motion, and it went together seamlessly for me. I think it still holds up after all these years. There's
really great. I loved it.
There's a little bit of trivia that I found out about this, that the music was composed by Richard Band, and some of the music in it he reused from Tourist Trap. So that was pretty cool that he did that. The puppet Blade, someone put in the chat that the puppet was based off of Klaus Kinski, but I went ahead and did a side-by-side as well.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny, David Schmoller hated Klaus Kinski. They almost killed each other on during the making of Crawl Space, which was filmed before this. So it's interesting that he would immortalize this guy as Blade. In part 3, however, that gets retconned, and he is patterned after Richard Lynch, which I tend to like better.
There's a documentary called Killing Klaus Kinski about the people who have worked with him who really wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
So let's do our ratings now, and then I'll read the chat and we'll go into the next one. For me, it's 4 out of 5 full moons, but like I said, nostalgia glasses. I never thought of it as being slow, actually, and that's really something special because I have ADHD. So for me to not think something is slow, I must have been really engaged.
Yeah.
That was great. Are we going in the same order?
Yeah, same order.
Okay. It's going to. Well, I'll save my full moon rating in a moment, but this movie has the best leech woman kill ever. because she gets taken out in the second movie, but I mean, her kill's the best scene in the movie. It's so creepy.
Yeah.
And rest in peace, leech woman. It's one that I probably won't revisit, but it is part of the franchise, and it did start it off. I just feel like, in retrospect, thinking of the entire franchise, it's the most forgettable one because it feels like well, no, that would be Curse of Puppet Master is the most unnecessary one, but this one feels like it doesn't really accomplish as much as it should. Also, William Hickey, who's our first Toulon here, he apparently didn't look that old. He had a disease. He had like a I apologize for downgrading it, but he kind of had like a Benjamin Button kind of thing where he looked older than he was. And so he wasn't really that old, which is interesting because everyone knows him as the grandpa from Christmas Vacation, but he wasn't actually that old, which is interesting. But he's great for minutes of screen time whenever he's on here and he blows his head off. 3 full moons. I'm going to give it 3. I think it's just okay. If you're going into the franchise, I think you just start with part 2 and you'll be fine. You won't have to worry about. I mean, if you're going to watch the whole thing, then I guess start with part 1. But 3. I'll go with 3. LD, go ahead.
I'm also going to give this 3 moons. For me, like you said, MC, it was okay. I mean, I did think it was kind of cool to see the leeches coming out of that one woman puppet. And that's right after the woman puppet is kissing the guy's body who's tied up for some reason.
LD, you'll never believe what her name is.
Please tell me.
Leech Woman.
actually, in the trailer, don't they call her Miss Leech?
Oh,
I don't know why they changed the name or something for her. I don't know.
Did they
why
really?
changed it. Yeah, I think in the trailer.
I didn't know
Leech
that.
Woman. I think they changed it later on, but yeah, I think in the trailer they call her that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, 3 moons is going to be my rating. Like I said, I feel like there was a lot that the box cover and the trailer promises, but we don't really seem to get that. I'm sure once I see the other movies, I'll have like a stronger opinion. But that's my rating. 3 moons.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in the same direction as you guys. I'm at a 3 moon myself. There was, if it wasn't for the hype that I built up for myself as a kid, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much, because yes, the Leech Woman part was great. That really kind of like stuck at me when I was watching it, and I really felt that moment. But a lot of the action, while it was great, they did the puppet movement. It felt good. It felt, I guess, real for if a puppet was animated moving around.
Mm-hmm.
It just there was just a lot of things that kind of didn't connect. But I do appreciate them for really swinging for the fences on this movie. With the budget they had, with the kind of story that they were trying to tell. It just could have used a little bit more. I don't know if it would have been like a little more polished, a little more thought into how they connected the story. But I mean, 3 out of 5 is not bad. That's a decent, solid movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, as a fan of the movie Dolls, I also just appreciated the fact how these puppets took on the soul of its master too. Like, if somebody were to die, isn't it right that that person would then be kind of turned into a puppet? Is that how that happened? Yeah. So, when Charles Band took his inspiration from Dolls, I just appreciated that little similarity there. And there were just a few homages to other films, like the part we mentioned with 3 heads in the bed. That was obviously The Godfather. And then I feel like we had a Freddy Krueger moment with the fingers and the green blood, which was pretty cool to see. And it was just a fun film for people who just want to have fun with a horror movie. Like you had mentioned too, Lady Shasha, like it had really good production value to it compared to the other 2 films we're going to talk about. But Charles set out to make B movies that were funny, B horror movies that were funny. And it was just kind of, when you think about a B horror comedy, this was just like a little step above that. Like he did really well with it. And like you were talking about too, just how real it kind of looked with these tiny puppets that you could in real life probably just slap around. The way they shot it made them look threatening and like they were actually, struggling to get out of the grasp of these puppets. And so I appreciated that experience. So for me, I would rate it a 3.5. 3.5
moons.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it 3 myself as well. Mainly, if anything, like MC basically said, the subsequent sequels are definitely a lot better. So this one can easily fall under the radar, and it's not a big deal. So I'm gonna go 3 for this one.
Cool.
And I'm doing 4 out of 5, especially for the gore, because I love how one of the, I'm going to call them sexologists, how the lady sexologist's face looked after Tunneler was through with her. That was really great. And also the elevator scene with not only Blade cutting off his fingers, but also taking his little blade and flicking each finger down into the elevator. Like, it's the little things.
That was good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But definitely 4 out of 5 for me. I'm going to take a moment to check out the chat because they have a few comments. Tony Man says Puppet Master the Littlest Reich is outrageously horrible. It's great. Tony T says the film Dolls was the inspiration for Charles Band to make Puppet Master. I also think that both Dolls and Puppet Master inspired James Wan to do Dead Silence and then everything he's done since then. Even his name on Twitter is Creepy Puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Paul says, for some reason, the concept of doll movies always catches the audience's attention. And then also, director Schmoller wanted Blade to look like Klaus Kinski, his favorite actor.
Well, not really favorite.
Favorite.
Yeah.
Tony says, Jester is my favorite because everyone loves Blade.
Why do you like Jester? I'm curious because all he does is spin his head around and go, oh,
it's cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
He's fine. I don't hate him.
Shout out to Trash Picture Show. Plug tweet ahoy. Thank you so much for that. Marty, I forgot to tweet that I was going live and Marty did that for me. So I appreciate that. Haunted by Horror says, yes, it's great to see adults on screen actually playing adults. Yeah. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Tony T. also says it was my favorite of the series, but my favorite puppet is Torch.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And Sidewinder says Klaus Kinski was a nightmare to work with. His daughter is Natasha Kinski from Cat People.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who he apparently sexually abused. That's another thing going out there.
Well, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Someone says, has anyone really died from a leech? Don't they just suck blood and fall off when they're done? Yeah, I had that conversation when I first watched this. I just let it go.
Or puppet leeches, on the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
They're
dead.
magic leeches.
Those are deadly.
Magic puppet leeches.
I just let it go, but let's get into.
They may have been leech puppets. That's why they were more effective.
Oh, one more before I go. Haunted by Horror says, well, their saliva is an anticoagulant, and so you keep bleeding even after they're removed. Oh, so it keeps your blood from clotting.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into demonic toys, which is my guilty pleasure.
Uh-oh.
In an abandoned warehouse, evil has been waiting, watching, wanting for someone to play with its toys.
We can have a lot of fun here tonight, friend.
Someone's inside the toys. What do you want?
Demonic toys. Now on video cassette from Full Moon Entertainment.
Yeah, I tried to get just the TV spots for each of them, but I couldn't. So that's why the first trailer was so long. And I just didn't. I could have edited down, but I didn't feel like it.
I think it came out great. Great. You don't want to cut that.
Yeah, I'm just like this. What do you cut out of these trailers? So, oh yes, see, Tony T is on it. I was gonna say that in my spiel about it. That Demonic Toys, aka Dangerous Toys. It was originally called Dangerous Toys until I found out that there was a rock band by the name of Dangerous Toys. So then they had to change the name of the film to Demonic Toys.
Rock band.
That's probably better anyway. Demonic is better.
Yeah.
Better story.
Yeah.
Jose, what'd you think?
Oh, okay. We'll start with me. Hello. Hi. Demonic Toys. I like this one. I like this one quite a bit. I have really fond memories of this movie. This is one of the ones, we were discovering Full Moon back in the day that really jumped out at us. And this kind of delivers what I wanted from Puppet Master. Crazy kills. The toys don't have to look great. It's kind of more fun that they look kind of weird and like that the bear looks like some like garage sale abomination. Like that's fantastic. I want that. I'm 100% okay with that. I like that Baby Oopsie. Is exactly who it needs to be. And I kind of wish they brought the robot back whenever they do the other movies, but they always forget the robot. But I love this movie. This is one of the ones that I will always have a soft spot for because it's one of the ones that doesn't feel empty. It doesn't feel like it needs to fill up space to make it a feature where people are walking around, stuff like that. You got the Tracy Scoggins cop story. You got the whole demonic little kid thing happening. The dolls are, you got the runaway girl that's AJ Langer, right? TC?
I think it is. I meant to look it up and I didn't, but I want to say
pretty
yes.
sure it is. I'm going to look it up. Yes. But anyway, because she was in Arcade. I'm pretty sure that was her, but I'll double triple check that. But anyway, there's a lot going on. It's never boring. You know, the cop is pregnant. There's so much good stuff in this movie that's
there's a lot.
It's really, it's just really enjoyable. And I feel like here they're hitting on all cylinders. This to me really feels like when Full Moon was really at its peak. It's the Bad Channels, Seed People kind of era where they were really delivering, you know, the stuff that we wanted to rent at the video store. And you were excited like, oh, this looks exactly like the cover. They didn't lie to us. Yeah, I like this one quite a bit. Not as much as the one we're going to talk about next, which I think is a phenomenal masterpiece. I'm kidding.
Bye.
So it has the best scientist ever in cinema history.
Yeah, right.
But totally believable scientist. No, masterpiece movie. I love this one quite a bit. LD, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta say, I found myself really enjoying this. I thought it was cool that this is all taking place in one night. This isn't happening over like a period of time. It's all happening in one night, and I really like movies that are brave enough to do that. I like the demon kid. I thought he was a really cool character. I didn't think I was gonna like him at first, but he really grew on me. I liked how we saw the demon at the end. Although I will say it is, I don't know why, but I did kind of get a chuckle out of seeing the demon kid saying, "I'm going to do the nasty with you."
Yes.
I don't know. That was just a fun thing for me to see. There was a lot of like great fun. Yeah, there was like a lot of great fun moments in this film. Like when the dead fiance is walking around and goes, "I only have eyes for you," and takes his eyes out. That was like a fun little moment there. I really liked how the toys looked. I really did, especially Baby Oopsie. And Baby Oopsie had my favorite line in this whole movie, which was, "I shit my pants. Do you shit your pants?"
That's your favorite line?
Yeah, I gotta say, that's my favorite line out of the whole movie.
Oh, I said that today. I said that today.
But yeah, I really found myself having a great time. I will admit, I didn't like the runaway girl. I wasn't a fan of that character, especially how she just appears and is just there. Yeah. So that's like my only negative thing to say about the film. But overall, yeah, I actually had a great time with it. I thought it was cool. It gave me what I wanted, and it delivered. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys 100%. It's one of those movies that you look at the box and you're thinking, yeah, I'm gonna rent something. I want something like this tonight, and you watch it and it gives you exactly that. It was fun. It kept going from one step to the next. It wasn't, there wasn't gaps where you were questioning where they're going or you're wondering why things are happening. It's just fun. It keeps coming. It's a car ride that doesn't slow down or pull off to the side. It also has one of the grossest scenes in the three movies that we saw when the security guard hands him the magazine of Miss July. I had to watch it like 5 times, not for the reason you think, but the kid lifts up the magazine and I don't know if he smells it or if he licks the magazine. It's disgusting. Nothing else in that movie was as gross as that. But that joking aside, that it was just fun. The security guard character, he was over the top, but fun and endearing in a weird, that's my crazy uncle kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
The A-B stories of like the cop and then the demon and I'm gonna say that this is kind of a plus for the movie, but as I was watching it, I couldn't help but keep thinking about Demon Knight in the back of my head. Like that time in the 90s where they played with religion and the good and bad of religion, and they really they did heaven and hell, and they really leaned in hell in this one and demons in this one, and I think that's just a compliment to Demonic Toys, that if I'm thinking about another really good movie that I enjoyed, these people did something right. I think it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed it too. I think, enjoyed Puppet Master just a little bit more. This was a good time. I did love the doll or the toy designs. I'm sure, as most people, Baby Oopsie was also my favorite. Just the lines and just making me crack up out of nowhere. To me, it just felt like there was just a lot going on. While that can also be seen as a good thing, where the story is just pushing forward and new things are happening. But for me, it was just almost like a mess at some points, because it was just too much. Again, with the homeless chick, she came and then she went, and it was for what? Like, she didn't really add anything to the story, and there was just no connection to the different storylines. It was just these people are in this warehouse, and they're all coming across these toys, but we have these storylines that are starting that don't really finish or don't have a conclusion. It was just like a movie you can totally put on while you're doing work in the background and not really miss too much. There's not really much to pay attention to me. But again, it was a good time, because again, that demon kid was just amazing. I'm surprised his career didn't take off even more. Yeah, he was in Children of the Corn 3, but it's unfortunate that he quit acting after that, because he was just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, at the top of my head, those were my first impressions. But yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, this was one of my earlier favorites. I definitely agree with everybody. It's definitely the pacing, everything is good. The story, actually, I looked it up. I didn't remember this, but David Goyer wrote this one, which I didn't remember that at all. Yeah, the character's real cool. Tracy Scoggins was like a beautiful badass, completely. She's awesome. I did check something out, that because the security guard looked familiar to me. And I looked up his IMDb. I don't know if you guys remember, in T2, he's the guy that the Terminator takes the shotgun and the sunglasses from in the beginning. He was like the bartender in the beginning scene. That was him. I'm like, yeah, this guy looks familiar, but yeah, overall, the movie's great. The only thing and it's silly, it's the stupidest thing, but that I didn't like so much in this one, but I like it better in one of the later sequels, is the Baby Oopsie's voice. I like the one they use in Dollman vs. Demonic Toys better, but that's it. It's something silly. It's not a big deal at all, but that's the only thing I really didn't care for.
No, I agree with you. I think Baby Oopsie's voice got better as the series progressed.
Yeah.
Bummer.
I was going to start my review with it. I was surprised to find out that the screenplay was written by David S. Goyer, who also did Dark City, Dark Knight Rising, Blade, Trinity. Well, all three of the Blade movies. He actually was a screenwriter, and he most recently did the Hellraiser 2022 that was on Hulu.
Oh, right.
Nice.
I think he also did Batman versus Superman, but we will just, not talk about that.
I loved it.
Why did you say that name, Martha? I'm sorry.
Hey, that movie
genius. That's freaking genius, by the way. No one made that connection until that moment. That's genius.
Then they had the lady jump in the water, and I'm like, this is when you introduce Aquaman. Not going to do it? Oh, okay.
Dropping ball.
And speaking of favorite lines in the movie, mine would have to be "It's real enough," just because it also reminds me of Freddy Krueger again. Twice in a row, I'm thinking of Freddy. So I love that part.
Speaking of that, there were some homages, and at least I think that there are homages. The weird little girls with the gas masks on and the tricycles. That was very Elm Street to me. I feel like that was Elm Street. The homeless girl crawling through the vents, she reminded me of Newt from Alien. And there was a scene where I don't know any of the characters' names. The chicken delivery guy, he starts freaking out and screaming about how they're all done, and it was a very game over, man type moment. I was like, why do they keep making these homages to Alien? It has nothing to do with killer dolls, but okay, I accept it. I like the actual demon birth flashback. It was like bad but good at the same time. I love when they make a wet it's not a puppet. I don't think it was a puppet. Well, you could
animatronic,
maybe. Anyways, it looks great to me. I would rather see that than anything CGI. I don't care if it's not the best animatronic. I'd rather see it. It's more organic. Well, literally. I thought the Demon Boy was the star of the movie. I loved him so much, and I laughed every time he told the lady, "And then we're gonna do the nasty." That's probably my favorite line of the movie. Also, when the security guard is in his office, Puppet Master 2 is playing on the television in the background. And the other thing I found out was that there is an actual Baby Oopsie spin-off series that's on Hulu. I don't know when it came out. It's probably around 2020-ish. I have to catch up on it. Oh, I forgot to mention with Puppet Master, there's a Blade solo series too. I don't know whether a whole movie to himself would work, but I'm willing to watch it. But I always have fun watching demonic toys. Like, this is one of my favorite full moon movies. I think it's just hokey enough for me, but it's also I don't know. There's just something I like about it.
Yeah.
Well, the Demon Kid also had the raddest 90s shirts ever.
Yes. And I like the way they did his nails when he was holding the wine glass, which he looks very comfortable with this wine glass. I don't know how they got this child to look so comfortable with the wine glass.
And he really acted with the nails too. Like, it wasn't just a prop. He was like really flexing it, and
you can tell this kid was all into this role.
Yeah.
No, little known fact, kind of a throwback to what MC said earlier from Puppet Master. That kid is actually William Hickey.
Yeah. Really? That's how young he looked. No.
That's what he really looks like.
Oh my god.
Okay,
so
I'm gonna hit.
Right?
His ghost will haunt you.
I'm gonna hit up the chat. There's only 3 in here, so we'll do them real quick. Tony T says, "I always laugh at Baby Oopsie lines." Also, David Goyer was supposed to direct the film, but they decided to get Peter Manoogian. And Tony Man says, David Goyer also did 2 of my favorite movies, Jumper and Man of Steel. Oh, I like Jumper.
Oh, Jumper
Man of Steel, I don't really remember too much. Is that the one where he saved the dog but couldn't save his dad?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Oh, dang.
It was the message, okay?
No,
There's a
they
reason
never.
he couldn't save the dad.
They never should have changed it, because originally his father died of a heart attack, and the lesson in that was that he couldn't save everyone because he obviously couldn't. So why to remove that? I didn't get the reasoning behind removing that lesson.
I get you.
But other than that, I think that's also where people got upset because the town got destroyed. Was it, or was that that was Batman versus?
That was Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, that was Batman versus Superman.
No.
They all They roll together in my head as if I watched one big long movie.
No. You're right. It is Man of Steel. It is Man of Steel because Zod, and he destroyed everything.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you expect? That's real. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's realistic.
Yeah.
Tornadoes do that.
No, it wasn't a tornado. That was.
There's one other. There's one other thing I forgot to mention in my review, that I noticed that the Jack in the Box looked a lot like Killjoy.
Yeah. Never noticed that before.
I think that's why they might have changed his design for the next movie that we're going to talk about.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't like the new design of the Jack in the Box, but there's one scene that did make me giggle.
I think I know what you're talking about.
All right, so we give final thoughts on Demonic.
Yes.
All right. I like this movie quite a bit. Just referencing the Baby Oopsie spinoff. My buddy directed it. There's actually 2 seasons because it's a TV show, but it's basically just like a longer. I mean, it's not even that long. It's like maybe 90 minutes. The first season is really good. I didn't love the second one as much. But it's on the Full Moon streaming. It's on there as well. So if you want to check it out, it's very different. It's definitely more of a comedy than this movie was. It's definitely more tongue in cheek, very weird, which is fine. Also the Blade spinoff is, the budgets get less and less as time goes on. And I think Puppet Master falls apart to me after part 3. Mainly because even though 4 and 5 has an interesting nugget of story, it's abandoned later on. Part 6 is something completely different. Part 7 is utter trash.
Is
no, I'm
part
sorry.
7 the one that's all of the movies like?
No,
like a
part
highlight
7
reel?
is Retro Puppet Master, and that one pissed me off because it fucking guts its own franchise, and it tells us a second origin story. The third one told us the origin story. Now you're telling us, oh no, there's another one. What do you mean there's another one? There can't be another one.
When he was
There's
younger.
one story. And it pissed me off. So, and no, 8 is a piece of trash. Just, oh, here's some clips where we
highlights.
try to make sense of everything, and it still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm off topic. Demonic Toys, 4 moons. I don't want to give it 5 because I think 5. I mean, I want to lean on my Kiki Palmer and say 5 stars, Angel, 5 stars. But you know, I think that's nostalgia glasses. So I'm gonna be.
What about Kiki Palmer? What was that?
I want her line from Nope.
From Nope. Yeah.
When, 5 stars. Which I love it. It makes me laugh every time I hear it.
Okay,
But I don't know that that's nostalgia rating. I'm gonna give it just a critical rating of 4. I'm gonna go with 4. That's me. LD.
You know, I was going back and forth with what I was going to give this, but you know what? I'm also going to give this 4 moons. I found it enjoyable. I definitely found myself enjoying this more than Puppet Master. One thing that I did in my mind kind of felt was total bullshit. How in that flashback scene where she has to give the demon kid away, and so there's these kids coming for Halloween to trick or treat, and she says, "Hey, instead of candy, I'll give you something better. Here, you can take this and just plant it." And the kids go, "Okay, thank you." He's gonna do that, you know. I mean, not one kid. I don't care if it's the '90s or today or even back in the '80s. No kid is gonna go to a house trick or treating and go, "Oh, instead of candy, yeah, I'll take this thing that I'm not looking at and plant it." So
give me a job. I don't care.
I'm gonna try it this year, see if it works.
But that aside, again, I loved how we got a lot of great demon toys. I loved the look of them. They all definitely had a great creep factor to them. I liked how the chicken delivery guy starts off as an asshole, but he's kind of redeemed in a way because he ends up kind of being the hero. I like that. And so yeah, 4 moons from me.
You know, Master and LD, you guys.
It always sounds like you're gonna give us bad news. When we get to be like, you know.
Let me land here. Let me land here. You guys have, you know what you're talking about. You have your integrity. You guys are masters at understanding the horror craft. Or I'm just some casual Joe Schmo who, watches horror movies. I'm gonna lean in and give this one a 5. You know, I had a lot of fun watching this one, and it's like, when it comes to like enjoying movies, it's just like liking ice cream. Some people like vanilla, some people like chocolate. I like Demonic Toys. It was fun, and I'm not watching this to like, have this movie teach me a lesson about anything. I don't care. I just want to go from minute 1 to minute 120 and have fun. And this movie did it. So,
what flavor ice cream would this be? Would it be magazine flavor?
This would be.
No, I think it would be nasty flavor.
Yeah,
there you go.
Doing the nasty flavor. Yeah, so I give it a 5. Rainbow.
I have a feeling she's gonna go real high, maybe 10.
I mean, if Rainbow's gonna show me up, yeah, 10.
No, I am going back and forth between a 3 and a 3.5. Although I gave Puppet Master a 3.5, and I said that I liked that film a little bit more than Demonic Toys, but I do appreciate the filmmaking of Demonic Toys, because although for me at first it seemed like a bit too much was going on, it was still a good time, and the character progressions were fun. Like you mentioned, LD, Chicken Delivery Boy had his bit of an arc, and we love seeing a female badass lead, doing the damn thing. But it was just clearly, obviously over the top, and that's Charles Band's thing with the whole full moon, production company. That's his whole deal. And so for me, I don't necessarily gravitate toward that stuff always, especially I guess in the 80s and early 90s. And so I appreciate the film for what it is. It is a good time. So yeah, it is equal to Puppet Master, although I prefer it, but I can also be happy with giving it a 3 as well. 3 full moons out of 5.
Nice. I thought you were gonna go way lower than that, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I myself, I'm gonna go with a 4. It's like I said before, it's been one of my favorites, and I love how later on it couples itself with 2 other movies that I like in the Full Moon universe. So that's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I would give it 5, but I guess maybe if it was a little meatier. But 4 is the way I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Just curious, TC and I forget who else, but do y'all not do halves? Y'all just do 2, 3, 4, 5? Y'all don't go halvesies?
I guess so.
I don't like to go halves personally because I sort of have delineations to what my ratings are, but I'm no problem. Anyone can go halves whenever they want.
I was just curious. Yeah, okay. I noticed that. 'Cause I'm like, you said you would do this, but it's like a whole jump, not the half jump. But okay,
right.
I feel that.
Yeah, I agree with TC that a 4 out of 5 for me. It's just a 5 out of 5 movie to me is like Castle Freak. That's my 5 out of 5 movie. So this one is just slightly beneath that one. So 4 out of 5. And yeah, that stunt to add on about those kids, the stunt with the lady giving the deceased demon baby to the children to bury would never work with not only back then, but even today's. I mean, even more so today's generation. This last time we had trick-or-treaters, a little boy came to the door and he had some styrofoam that he carved to look like a glacier. It was pretty cool looking. He painted the bottom blue and he carved it out. He looked like a snow cap or a glacier. I said, oh, it's a cool costume. This child is 7, maybe to 9 years old. He said, I'm the glacier that sunk the Titanic. And I said, wow. I didn't know what to say. I was like,
holy shit.
I would have never even thought of something like that. When I was impressed and scared at the same time.
And I'm coming for your house.
Yeah, you're either a genius or a psycho. I don't know. It's a great costume.
Yeah, they should have done a plan with a friend, and the friend would be the Titanic with a big hole in the side.
Yeah. Okay, let's say what's up to the chat one more time.
Selena,
welcome to the Dark Side is here. Check out her channel. She does great top 10 lists, especially
she does.
Lets you keep up with like different apps. Like she'll say these just came up on Tubi that are worth watching. These are on Netflix that are worth watching. These are on Hulu that are worth watching. That saves me a lot of time because there are times where I've spent an hour and a half finding something to watch. So
nice.
Haunted by Horror says Man of Steel went pretty hard on the pro-military propaganda. I'll have to watch it again because I wasn't.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I mean, I really like Man of Steel, but yeah, I could agree with that comment.
Superman was telling the military to go suck its ass. They're like, you can't kill me with these things. So I don't know, but.
Well, what's funny is my sister says that Batman is technically a snitch. He snitches to the police.
True.
This is not wrong.
That's pretty funny.
Not wrong.
Tony T says Charles Band should have made. Oh, what happened?
Come back, Tony T.
There we go. Charles Band should have made Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys back in the mid 90s. I think he wanted to. He had a series that he was planning called Puppet Wars. And somehow things just didn't get done until, and actually he didn't make Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, but we'll get into that in a moment.
I would have loved it. I'm sure he couldn't because of Empire maybe having rights to it or whatever, but it would have been cool to see Dolls versus Puppet Master. That would have been fun, I think, too.
Brian Renard Davis says, hey, been a while. What's up, Brian? And Tony Man says, yeah, Rainbow, do the whole jump. No squirrel ever makes it across the street going halfway.
Words to live by.
There's scores out of 10 too, and like out of 5 when you do it shortened with the halves, it makes sense because you got your A minus, B minus, and with the halves, I just go that way. Like a 3.5 is a B minus, I believe, or whatever, and then a 3 or 3.5 is probably a B, and a 3 is a B minus. So that's kind of how I do it. Then
I want to start giving quarter reviews.
Quarter. Shut the hell up.
Then it becomes like Star Search. 3 3/4 star.
Oh god.
Let's get to the best movie of the night because we're all waiting.
No.
And when he says best, he means worst.
Let's do it.
It's on the same shelf as Haunted Casino.
Yeah. Bury that thing.
This commercial was the best thing about the whole movie.
The best thing was the end credits.
I totally forgot this was a Christmas movie.
What is this place?
Oh yeah.
Today, Junior. Whole trailer is this. Oh,
yeah. 2 drops blood.
Come to life. Come on. Breathe. Breathe. It's working.
It's working?
It's okay.
Nothing works in this.
They've been protecting the Toulon family for generations.
It's found the food. Hello?
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah.
You want the puppets, you need the formula. You want the formula, you need Toulon. That's it. They're gonna wake up the toys on Christmas.
With innocent blood I summon thee!
Hell yeah.
To the chat, you're welcome. Now you don't have to watch the movie.
Yes.
I had never seen that trailer.
That movie right there.
I had never seen that trailer, and it is a cinematic tour de force. It is fantastic.
That should have been the movie right there.
I literally could have watched that trailer and still done a review.
Yes.
It's just dead air in between. This time I'm going to start because I have a lot to say. And the first thing is about them hiring a Corey Feldman that is either 29 or 33 years old, because some things on Google say he's 51 now and some say he's 48 now. So either way, at 27 to 33 years old, he was too young to play this part. And they just used that Halloween store spray his hair silver.
I think it was a wig. It had to be a wig with some streaks in it. It was some kind of Frankenstein wig.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then why he decided to do this weird smoker's voice. It could be out of the movie.
It was totally the director. I blame the director. I can't put it on Corey, bro.
The opposite actress is playing his daughter. Now, at the time, the actress, it says that she's 18, but actor
/ girlfriend.
Actor years, just add 2 years, and that's probably the actor's real age. Yeah, that's why they had more romantic chemistry than father-daughter chemistry, because she's like about 20, but they have her playing like she's 12. Like literally, her line reading and how she's speaking is like how a middle schooler might speak, a young middle schooler at that, not like how any teenager speak. Even for the 70s, 60s, nobody's, I don't know, it's driving me crazy. Like, is she supposed to be a 12-year-old? And then they had the pigtails too. Like, what is she? What age is she supposed to be playing?
It's like she's 18 in real life when she did the movie. They go, I got an idea. Let's put pigtails in. She just looks like an 18-year-old with pigtails.
Boom! 10 years off.
And then just have her put on this high voice talking like this. It doesn't sound natural at all. Like, what are you doing?
Corey Feldman.
Yeah,
crotchety old man.
Going total Dark Knight on that. Hey, I'm an old man.
I'm brooding.
I bought it. He's believable.
I did see that. The
older than
screenplay
me.
this time is by Courtney Joyner, or she goes by Courtney C. Courtney Joyner now, who also wrote Puppet Master 3. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
I talked about that. The sets look super cheap, especially that last set when they went into the dungeon or whatever. You could see the styrofoam bricks. Like it was so distracting how cheap that set looked. I feel some type of way, but it was my first time watching this, so this is a new reaction.
Okay.
I like the design of the original Jack in the Box. That one that looked like Killjoy. I don't like the new design, but I did like one scene that was pretty funny. The demon looks like a Power Rangers villain. They should have kept the design of the demon from Demonic Toys, not whatever this was. And it was too brightly lit too. It just was not good.
Yeah.
They were probably going for a darkness, like if you remember Legend, how darkness looked in Legend. That's probably what they were going for, but that's not what they had.
Nope.
Also, I wrote, I'm going to read verbatim. Someone tell the screenwriter that we don't want to see fist fights or shootouts between the humans. We came to see puppets fight toys. They did not fight enough. Tunneler and Leech Woman weren't in this. This was this was horrible, and I most likely will never watch it again.
Nope.
Oh, I just noticed it was something that I forgot to say about the Demonic Toys. One of the scenes I liked. When dude broke the Jack in the Box's rattle, and the Jack in the Box reacted as if it was his penis. Dude grabbed the rattle and he just broke it. He was like, it was just, I love that. That didn't happen in this. His rattle is gone in this. Now he has like some kind of weird scream. It was just, it's not for me. I'll just say that it's not for me. What did you think, TC?
Well, I think they should rename this movie Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys versus My Time and My Time Lost. Oh my God. You could see the strings on the puppets. I don't know if you noticed them. You could see the freaking strings. They've made 6 of these movies, I think, before this one, and you never saw the damn strings. This one, you see the strings. Oh my God, the acting sucked. Like you said, the set sucked. I mean, you said it all. I mean, it's horrible. And I never seen this one. It's my first time watch. I wish I would have just watched the trailer and that's it, because that would have been enough for me. But actually, I gotta say, a little throwback to a Voyage episode, MC. That demon guy actually reminded me of Cookie.
Oh, okay.
Because of the whole Santa thing when he came out, just like Santa and all that. And then
fucking
makeup.
stupid. Yeah.
Horrible. Oh my God. What else was bad? Everything was bad about this. Oh, and at the end of the movie, when they're acting like, oh, Christmas dinner, and they're not even acting. I mean, it's so bad. Bad. Oh my God, I never want to see this again, ever. Horrible. By the way, I think I'm gonna do Rainbow a solid at the end of this, because I was gonna give it a really bad score, but I think I'm gonna do her a solid at the end of this.
Okay. All right. For me, obviously it was like really terrible, but I hadn't seen any of these movies before. The only really full moon production films I had seen were the Killjoy movies, and I didn't really understand at the time watching Killjoy that it was the goal to make sort of bad movies, and this is definitely the worst of the 3 films, but it was like he's really doing what he set out to do, because you don't just film Corey Feldman acting like this without knowing it's terrible. You're like, yes, it's horrible, you got it. Like, that's exactly what I wanted. That is what the director is sitting there saying and feeling. And he's like, oh my God, this weird sexual tension between daughter and father. We got it. Like, that's it. That's what we wanted. And it's really unfortunate that there are folks out there who are like, yes, like Charles is just getting better and better with all these films. Like, this is like the pinnacle of what we've been like working toward after all of these movies and these different franchises. And so while I feel like they nailed it as far as what they wanted, but for me as a film lover, it totally missed the mark. I really had to push through this. It was really difficult to finish this and listen to Corey that entire time. Like I was
Mhm.
just, my skin was crawling the whole time. It was really difficult because I like Corey. Like, he's a chill dude, you know. I'm down
Oh,
for him.
if
like,
you want to make your skin crawl, look up his music videos.
Yes.
Oh man.
yeah.
And his
Oh,
dance
God.
moves. He's been. I respect that he never gives up. He keeps going.
Yeah.
Resistance.
I appreciated though that there was alcohol involved in the alchemy this time. You know, we had some vodka, you know, injected into the puppets, and the love interest looked a lot like the daughter, so it made it even more funny. You know, the cop that was, you know, more times than not working alone for whatever reason. But the demon, even though the set was kind of, you know, cheap looking, the demon costume and the SFX like was great. Like that demon looked awesome. It was seamless. You didn't really see any like wrinkles or pockets or anything like that. Demon's costume was
That's where the budget went.
really fucking good compared to the whole. We're like, damn, like y'all really made sure that that looked on point, and you had people there working on that more than they were working on anything else. And fine, so be it, you know, so be it. But it looked great. And it was obvious that, you know, I'm sure Toy Story had a little bit of inspiration with the cowboy dude, the 6-shooter dude. That was pretty obvious and fun to see because, you know, I never knew. So overall, though, I will never watch this again. I will never suggest it. You know, if I'm like maybe like almost blackout drunk and we're having like a crazy rager party and we're trying to end the night, maybe I'll put this on or something, but for the group to watch. But yeah, it was something that I had to watch for this discussion. So I did that.
I did it for you guys.
I did it for you.
We thank you for your sacrifice, Rainbow Fright.
No problem. Anytime.
What are your thoughts, Julian?
You know, Tracker was texting me about it the night before saying, oh, this movie's great. You got to check it out. Really dive in. Really get involved. These characters, this story. $2.4 million budget.
No way.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
I refuse to believe
What did
that.
they
budget,
do with the
that's a
other
lot.
$2.3 million?
That went into the liquor that they had to drink to get through this movie.
The liquor, 100%.
The liquor
yes.
and the demon suit, $2.4 million
Mhm.
in 2004. What were these?
Yes.
What were people doing? Like, we're like, it was
That was not the budget. I'll tell you right now.
No.
Studios
okay.
lie.
$2.40.
Lie
You read it wrong.
all the fucking time. Yeah, that 100%. I can guarantee you. The film I made
believe
last
you.
year. My budget was $100,000. On IMDb, it says $700,000. So,
why? Where does this?
Don't pay any low budget movie like direct to video company. Do not pay attention to what their stated budget is because it's not
Okay,
real.
cool.
So the Blair Witch actually cost $2.50.
Yes. That was it, yeah.
It was god awful. It was horrible. I hate going on Instagram on my phone, and I was on Instagram half the time throughout this movie. I couldn't it. The movie was pushing me away from watching it. The movie. It didn't want me to complete it. You know, I'm. This is just for me. I thoroughly enjoyed that the lady's assistant was named Julian, and that his eyes were blown away by some screaming. You know, like this. Like I watch bad movies, and I couldn't watch this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like I'm enjoying talking to you guys about it, but you know, Corey Feldman. I like Corey Feldman. I don't like him anymore. I like bad movies. I have to readjust my thinking there. I have to maybe take up pottery. Maybe I'm going to do that from now on. Thanks to this movie. You know,
You found your new calling in life.
yeah. I'm gonna make pottery designed to tell people how bad this movie is. But I did enjoy Blade's battle with the bear. It was just him spinning. Just him spinning. He you know he didn't want to little hack. He didn't want to like juke or take an angle or anything. Like,
The stupid bear just stood there though. The bear did nothing.
Yeah.
At least in Demonic Toys, it turned into like a werebear thing.
Right.
Or something, you know. It actually did something. That thing just stood there like if it was like did it, and they probably moved it with air or something. I
like to think that the bear was stunned by Blade's brilliance in his
And you know what one of the worst things was that I wanted to punch him in the face when Blade goes like this and Corey Feldman goes like this. Yeah, like
Corey's like, yeah, I'm Blade too. Yeah.
And then he gives the introduction of the puppets to the daughter, right? But then somehow the cop lady knows what they're called later on in the movie. How the hell does she know what they're called?
Right.
Just guessed.
How does fucking Corey Feldman know what they're called?
because what was his name? John Paul Toulon, whatever, his great uncle, whatever.
Fuck that shit. Okay, I'll wait. Oh wait, I love that this movie. Julian's gonna walk away from this saying, "I used to watch bad movies. Now I build housing for Habitat for Humanity."
Sadly, hammering the roof on a house. I guess I'm helping someone else this time.
He buries those movies under those houses.
Yes. Great foundation for good living.
Yeah.
So bad movie. Please, LD, help me.
He likes it. He likes it.
Halfway through this movie, I had to pause and take a break.
Halfway?
Yeah, halfway through the film, I had to I reached a point where I just had to take a break. I was committed to finishing it because I wanted to see the whole thing for this, but halfway through, I just had to pause, and I went to my wife, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so bored. You know, I mean. The way I was talking to my wife, she thought that I was like working, you know, like I was tired from like a long day of work. RainbowFRIGHT said something that I do have to agree. Whenever I see actors doing like stupid shit or some bad stuff in a movie, I never blame the actors because it is all the director. The actors are just doing what the director tells them to do. Or the actor comes up with some stupid idea and the director goes, yeah, I like that. You know, so you can't put all the blame on the actors. They're doing what the director is telling and paying them to do. So I definitely agree with you on there, Rainbow. You know, the demon, I kind of liked the design of the demon. But then when he came back as Santa Claus, I was like, oh, fuck you. Seriously. That's literally what I said. I saw the demon in a Santa suit, and I'm like, fuck you. You know? There was so much that I hated. I hated that instead of magic, it's now like alchemy and chemistry because we didn't see that in Puppet Master, you know? And you guys tell me, in the other Puppet Master series, are there chemicals that are made to bring these puppets to life?
Because we saw it only with the old man, right? Like we just saw it at the very beginning because it was like he was painting, but it was like there had to be some kind of magic in that. Like we just don't get to see it, you know? Yeah. And then with the Versus film, we just saw that merging of two, kind of, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chemicals and reanimator type stuff in the future Puppet Master movies.
Got it.
Yeah. Reanimator I definitely enjoyed.
Yes.
I did think it was weird how like when he repairs the puppets, they now have like robotic features to them now. And like the 6-shooter now looks like Kano from Mortal Kombat for some reason. And now instead of bullets, he can shoot lasers now.
And that's one of the few things I liked about it, like the upgrades, even though they look like aluminum foil when they put it on him. But that's one of the things I like. Oh, that's a pretty cool idea. But
yeah, and the whole time I'm like waiting, and I'm like, when are the toys going to fight the puppets? When are the toys going to fight the puppets? And I'm waiting and waiting. And when we finally get it, it's a quick thing where Blade just spins around and cuts the teddy bear, and that's yeah, and that's pretty much it. And I also hated. I loved Baby Oopsie in Demonic Toys. I hated this version of Baby Oopsie because the way his voice was, all they needed to do was give him a cigar, you know, and that's it. It was basically Baby Herman from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's really what it was. And it's funny. I was watching this on Tubi, and I noticed that it didn't even have an R rating. It had a TV 14 rating. And
yeah,
I was
because
like,
this one I think was produced directly for Sci-Fi Channel Network.
Yeah.
I see. I see. They should have rejected it, but yeah. And I do agree. That end scene where it's like, oh well, hey, let's have Christmas dinner now, and jingle bells, jingle bells. Oh my god! And it's like this, in a way, almost felt like a kid's movie. In a sense, this was almost like a kid's movie.
100%.
Yeah, it felt like, I felt like this is something you almost would have seen on Are You Afraid of the Dark back in the day.
Sure.
It kind of had that vibe.
I would have been upset.
I don't even think it's that good. I think Are You Afraid of the Dark
Right,
is better
right.
than this.
Right.
I agree. No disrespect to Are You Afraid of the Dark, but that's kind of the vibe I got. And the fact that it ends with Baby Oopsie coming back out, it's like, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year,
I wrote the book on Are You Afraid of the fucking Dark, man. I literally wrote the book on it. So,
Nice.
Again, I'm getting no disrespect to Are You Afraid of the Dark. No disrespect whatsoever. And by the way, check out his book. It's a great book. But I got so bored with this. I was falling asleep. Why, Corey? Why was what I was saying the entire time? Okay, yeah.
Money, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what more? If you want an old man, cast an old man, not a freaking 29-year-old.
Don't worry about it. I could be an old man.
Hey, the IMDb, and grain of salt whenever you read anything from IMDb, because they allow anybody to edit it. It says that character was originally meant for Fred Ward to play, and I guess he said no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what a great jump from Fred Ward to Corey Feldman.
Fred Ward's the only one making great decisions in this movie.
Yeah, because this movie's all about great decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could go on, but I don't want to take up too much time. But I think you get the gist of my feelings on it.
Mm-hmm.
Great segue. Speaking of great decisions, I own this movie.
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry.
This was the second time I've seen this movie. Picture this. I walk into Best Buy one day. Oh, I wonder what came out today. I see this on the shelves. I pull a Baby Oopsie. I shit my pants. I'm like, what? Finally. But are you kidding me? How did I not hear of this? This is amazing. I buy it and I take it home and I look at the box and it's put out by Anchor Bay. Rest in peace, Anchor Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the fuck? Hold on. There's no full moon logo on this. What is this? I do a little research. This is not a full moon movie. This is not an official full moon movie. So technically, we added it on to this because we were doing Puppet Master and Demonic Toys. We thought we might as well talk about this one. But technically, this is no longer full moon territory. Not produced by Charles Band whatsoever. Charles Band, as far as I know, hates this movie.
Okay.
And wants nothing to do with it. Here's the weird thing. C. Courtney Joyner, who is a man, actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's fine. He gets it all the time. He's a buddy of mine. He wrote part 3. He wrote Puppet Master Legacy, that's the one where they reused the clips. It's terrible. And they got him to write this. The director is Ted Nicolau, another full moon stalwart who directed the Subspecies movies.
Oh, okay.
Subspecies movies are fantastic.
Yeah.
So Ted Nicolau is a great director. C. Courtney Joyner is a great writer. I think what they had here was no money, no time, and just sort of an under the gun situation. I suspect this was maybe under 500,000, maybe less, like 200,000, maybe. I've met Corey Feldman a couple times. He's a weird fucking dude.
He's a child star.
He is weird. Like
he's trauma.
He's surrounded by like blonde women in angel wings.
Yeah, he calls them his angels.
Yeah. And he's just a strange guy. So
Did he talk to you like, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Corey Feldman?
He has a deep voice, and 100%. I bet he walked. He goes, when I'm a scientist, maybe I could be like, like I could have great hair and do all this crazy shit. And like, I'm sure the director was like, maybe let's do a little more realistic. And then, you don't have any fucking time. You have to shoot the movie.
He wore the same suit too.
You have 2 weeks. You know, maybe they had him for movies these days. I make these kind of movies, so I know how it works. Maybe they had him for a day, maybe 2 days. Look, we got to get the movie in the can. If he wants to do the fucking stupid voice and dye his hair gray, fine. We just got to go. We're being paid to make the movie. We got to do it. So I put the blame on Corey Feldman for stupid acting.
Okay.
And it's there's a reason Corey Feldman doesn't work anymore, and this is it. Because this
I
is what
mean,
he brings
he's
to the table.
been working since he's been working almost every year since he started working.
Yeah,
and
since he was a toddler.
Until today, and because there are so many more ridiculous things throughout the film, and Corey's voice and demeanor isn't the weirdest thing. I don't know. You're getting paid by the filmmakers. You're gonna do what they. I mean, he is a weird fellow, and I get what you're saying because I know a little bit behind the scenes too, but I feel like they would have been able to change his delivery if they wanted to.
I agree.
I don't know.
Next time I talk to Courtney, I don't know if he was on set, but I'm gonna pick his brain
Sure,
about this.
yeah. I would love to be the fly on that wall. Yeah,
I think we all would.
I will share anything I hear in terms of what the hell is behind this movie.
What the hell? Like what?
Yeah.
What the hell?
So not exactly a full moon movie. So moving forward, move out of the way, It's a Wonderful Life, because I have a new favorite Christmas movie, and it's this one.
Okay.
No, it's a piece of shit. It's awesome movie. Let's see.
Thank you.
My notes begin with, this is some off-brand bullshit right here. This
should be the tagline.
Right, for sure. This movie is the Never Say Never Again and the Jason X of the Puppet Master Demonic Toys franchise, and the one and only entry in both franchises to not have been produced by Charles Band or Full Moon, which boggles the mind as to how this happened. And I mentioned Courtney Joyner and Ted Nicolau. There's so much wrong with this movie. I have like a list of shit, which I'll save for my second round. But what the most bizarre thing about this movie is, I'll say this for the end, but I'm in talks with Charles Band at the moment. I'm going to mention this movie, and I'm curious how this happened, because I don't know how they got the rights or the permission to do this. I don't understand how he would allow it or how they were able to do it. And that's why the puppets look different, because they had to rebuild the puppets. They had to rebuild the demonic toys.
Was it first a Full Moon production and then it wasn't, maybe, or something?
I don't think so. I think it had nothing to do with Full Moon. Somehow, maybe Sci-Fi Channel had the rights to do a movie or something, and then this is what happened. But the fact that they hired Full Moon people is what boggles the mind, because they hired people that make these movies. It's very strange. And the fact that I'm a canon guy. For those of you who don't know, canon is like established story. If one movie says this happened, the other movie should also say that happened, because you're making that other movie look stupid. That's one of the reasons that Star Wars has gone down the hill, because they shit on their own canon. The Puppet Master is like a wasteland of destruction, because almost every movie changes the facts established in the previous movie. This movie specifically says that Corey Feldman's character is Toulon's great-great-grandson. Well, Toulon never had a kid, so I don't know how that's possible. And then he found the puppets in France. Well, the puppets were technically never in France, so I don't know how he found them, because at the time that this movie takes place, I'm sorry, I'm getting real nerdy, but this is what I pay attention to. At the time that this movie happens, I mean, this is literally around the same time that part 4 and 5 is happening, and that's happening in Bodega Bay, and this isn't Bodega Bay. And what the shit? He's got a doll hospital? There's no way. You're making zero money. There's no way. No wonder you're divorced. A doll
Wait, there's
hospital?
one correction. One correction. I think he said he was Toulon's great-grandnephew.
Oh, well, really? Nephew? I heard grandson.
And he mentioned a different Toulon, too. Not even the one we know.
Yeah, it is. It's right, because it wasn't Andre. That's right.
Now MC's going to give it 5 stars.
No, it's still stupid because
yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you.
Yeah, doll hospital. I mean, ladies, would let's say, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, those do exist. Like, if you have an American Girl doll, there's a doll hospital and a doll salon, but you just have to have extra money to burn if you want to do that. Like,
Would you
the
go
original
out?
Duck
You know,
McStuffins.
I don't know where you are relationship wise or anything like that, but if you met a guy and you're like, oh, what do you do for a living? Go, oh, I run a doll hospital. Are you running for the hills? You're like, oh, tell me more.
I'm like, what's up, bro? Show me. What's your
What
favorite doll? Let me see.
I would ask, what exactly is your trauma, and is this your way of working through it?
But you know, the doll hospital didn't even look good to begin with. It just looked like a guy's garage with like
It did.
So it's like, what kid is going to want to go there and say, "Would you fix my dolly?"
Yes, come inside.
Because it also seemed like he had
I just
like
thought
a
of
certain
another
amount
type of
time.
doll hospital. People that have the real dolls, there's a doll hospital for them too. I guess if you like, there's a doll hospital for them. I guess if you are too vigorous with them and you break a leg or something, you could send them out for repair.
Oh, like if you're doing wrestling moves with them?
Yes. I think we covered something similar on Hood Podcast. That's the type of stuff we talk about.
It also seemed like with Corey, though, like if he hadn't have done what he did that day and had the formula just right, that it was all about to go away. So it seemed like this was like the last leg or the last straw or the last chance to keep the legacy going. And maybe like next month or next year, there would not have been a hospital anymore. It seemed like that.
He did want to have his own toy line, but old Demon Girl had his place literally bugged. Like the way the bug is a bug.
Literally bugged. Yeah, this movie, it's a head scratcher, and it's one of those that I feel just muddies the water when it comes to both franchises. And like I say, it's the never say never again, because it's a spin-off movie that has no connection to the franchise, but sort of has the characters. If you're familiar with that James Bond movie, and no connection to the franchise, even though Sean Connery returns. Not a bad movie though, but still, awful. Okay, those are my opening thoughts.
Okay, I'm in the chat because they are typing paragraphs.
Oh boy!
About this.
You know what? I bet you we're gonna find someone that liked it.
Tony T says, I was waiting and hoping this film will ever be made. Then I saw what the Sci-Fi Channel did. I thought it was a parody of the series. Tony Man 100 says, oops, I forgot to put it up on the screen. Let me do that. There we go. Did anyone ever notice that 6-shooter, while he may have had revolvers or 6 shooters, but he only had 4 arms?
I did not notice that. That's interesting.
I didn't notice that either.
No, I never noticed that.
I noticed his stupid hat. That wasn't a hat.
Haunted by Horror says, I don't understand why the puppets in Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys look so much shittier than the puppets in the mainline Puppet Master movies. I don't either. I don't like the redesign.
Dollar store brand. That's what it was.
Eddie Loco 79 says, Corey Feldman. LOL.
Lol.
Corey Feldman is a musical and video genius. Don't besmirch his name, Lady Shasha, or I'll send you him singing Cry Little Sister. It is out there. Yeah, I don't think I need his version of Cry Little Sister. And then Haunted by Horror says he will send his angels after you. God. It should have been called Marionettes versus Demonic Toys, talking about the strings being visible. Hey, Rainbow, look up Ascension Millennium or Comeback King. You'll love them.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Great. Or Duh. He's got one called, if you oh my God, you want to cringe so hard your eyes will explode? Corey Feldman, Duh. D-U-H. Oh, my God.
Look at that one.
I'm going to search for that one.
I had to stop it halfway through. I can't watch anymore. My eyes, no, I can't.
I cannot wait.
It features I think his wife at the time and some of his angels. Oh Lord!
I'm gonna watch
even thinking about it hurts.
Haunted by Horror says the Blair Witch was free. They borrowed that camera from Travis's mom.
Travis.
And then the last couple more. Tony T says what's more shocking is it's on DVD out of print and it's selling for $30 to $50.
Who wants it?
I'm good.
The Trash Dash says the Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys movie was Sci-Fi Channel, if I remember right. They just bought the rights from Full Moon to use the characters.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they licensed them. They licensed out the characters.
Yeah, because I noticed the Full Moon logo not being in the opening credits, and I caught that too. I'm like, oh, is this not a Full Moon movie?
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI too, Danny's also a great channel to go and like find obscure info and obscure movies and obscure production companies, the Trash Dash. Like that's what he's all about, just finding those hidden gems. And so
nice.
Yeah, that's cool information to share. Thanks, Danny.
The Evil Tyrone stopped by. He says, hey, everyone. He has a great YouTube channel, a great Instagram channel. He interviews on both. I'm going to be on Friday with him. We're going to be talking about the AMC series From. There's going to be a panel of us on Friday night talking about From.
Actually, I haven't heard about From.
Oh, it's pretty good. It really flew under the radar, but I think it's because of the streaming service it was on. Had it been on like Netflix or Amazon, I think it would have got a lot more visibility, but it was on AMC and you could watch it either through your Amazon with like an add-on, like $1.99 add-on for AMC, or they should have put it on Shudder because AMC owns Shudder. So why didn't they just put it on there?
What subgenre is it?
It is, I would say, surreal horror.
Okay.
How do I compare it? I would say it's like Midnight Mass, but way more entertaining.
Okay. Less talky, less dialogue.
Yeah. Midnight Mass will have two characters walking for 6 minutes talking, and I'm like, is this necessary?
Really stretch it out.
Yes.
Yeah,
like, you don't have to stretch it.
I loved it, but it was just too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they could have condensed it. There was some editing could have happened. That's what it is.
Yes.
Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys is the worst 1 out of 15 movies. The Trash Dash says. And also Christian Bale stole Batman's voice from Corey Feldman in this.
Yeah, I called it.
First. Yeah. Might have came first. Sidewinder asks, Corey still dressing like Michael Jackson? Not quite dressing, but still trying to dance like him.
Yeah,
definitely.
She said, still trying to dance like him. Though.
He really is. Tony T says Charles Band recommended Ted Nicolau to direct. Ted didn't want to at first because he is not a fan of the Puppet Master series.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And also, the Littlest Reich movie isn't Full Moon either. I didn't know that. I own a doll hospital. It's called a dumpster.
I see you, Tony, man.
Hey.
And Paul Medina says, I've heard stories of Corey Feldman while on set. We'll go to the bathroom a lot. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. There are stories about him and unfortunately Corey Haim. And that's really, really sad.
It's really
most
hard
of the cocaine was on his hair during this movie.
It's not all as cracked up to be in Hollywood, especially as a child transitioning to an adult star. It's hard. You can't blame them. You can't put any fault on them. You can't, scold them or like wag your finger at them. Like, let them do it. If they're gonna do coke in the bathroom, fucking let them fucking do it. Who cares?
I think everything within reason. There's always,
within reason. No harming others. Harm yourself. Kill yourself. Do what you gotta do.
I've
don't
worked
harm
with people
anybody else.
in addiction before. When full disclosure, I used to work in fashion for a lot of years. I was a technical designer, and I worked with this young woman that she would always rage the F out, then start crying, then she'd visit the bathroom, do her lines, and come out happy as cake. And my only thing was like, could you just do your lines before you come to work? That's what the thing is going to be. Just do your job before you come to work, and that way you don't have to watch your meltdown first.
Yeah, that's true. Within reason, like you said.
Yes. Tony T says, my guess is that when Full Moon went bankrupt in the 2000s, the rights to the films went to their parent company, Paramount, and couldn't make the film themselves. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Except they've retained the rights from now on, so I don't know if that's 100%.
Maybe they did, like I said, they just licensed them. They didn't sell them completely, but just licensed them to other companies. That way they can retain the rights but still get money. Trash Chest says, thanks, D-Ray. And also, my heart goes out to Corey. Seems like a good guy. Yeah. Especially if what he says happened to him and Haim happened when they were kids. Like, they were, possibly victimized. So that's kind of messed up.
Yep.
All right, so let's give our final moons, and I'm gonna give this 0 moons because this was
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. That's what's up.
Yeah. TC, what do you got?
Well, it looked like it was gonna be a clear sky tonight, but since I said I was gonna do Rainbow Fright a solid. I'll give it a half moon only because I kind of like the puppets upgrades, but that's it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, it's a clear sky out night. There's a clear sky out there tonight.
Oh shit, it's me next. Shoot, I didn't expect a 0 and then a half to come before me. I never, on my own channel, I've never given a film less than a 2 or 1.5. So damn. Okay, so it was bad, right? It was bad, but it was purposely bad. And while it doesn't have the full moon name on it anymore, we learned that it was a full moon movie, right? And then it got bought out. So it accomplished what it set out to accomplish. So when you achieve, and for me, you get points for achieving your goals and doing what you set out to do. So for that, like a film usually will get at least 1, right? You get at least 1 for accomplishing your goal. But part of your goal was to also make this film enjoyable for us. And for many of us, and some of y'all like B and C movies, and are still rating it pretty low. And me, while I might also like B movies and some C movies, I am pretty disappointed by it. I didn't have a good time. I almost had to watch it in 2 sessions myself, but powered through and watched it in 1. So, it might go lower later, but right now I'm going to give it 1.5 full moons because, you kind of like in my mind, I'm thinking about Leprechaun, the film Leprechaun, and that's a pretty terrible film. It's pretty comparable, but I love Leprechaun.
I like Leprechaun.
I'm gonna give it like 2.5 for the most part, but like I still would. I'm like, hey, if this is a 2.5 movie, go fucking watch it. Like, watch Leprechaun. You're gonna have a good time. Watch it with me, But I'm not gonna say this about this film. And so a whole point lower, 1.5, I feel like for me is like close to an F, if not a super D minus. But it was still at the same time like strangely entertaining. So it gets a 1.5 full moons out of 5 for me.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept you bring up, Rainbow, about setting out to make a bad movie, and if that's what you're doing, you gotta give credit where that credit is due.
Right.
And I think that's an interesting. You could kind of really discuss whether it was something they set out to make bad, was it something that they started in earnest and they realized, shit, we don't have the money, we don't have the talent, we don't have this. Let's just finish it and whatever, go to the next project, or is it someone who just has a bad idea, bad execution, they don't know it, and this is what we get. We get demonic toys and Puppet Master being trash. I will say though, I loved the Santa suit because it looked like it had like a little a huge butt. Like, I don't know if you noticed that. But
yeah, I noticed that.
Right, you saw that, right? Like I saw the first Santa, I was like, wow, that Santa's like really packing something back there. Like, and then I saw the demon with it, I was like, yes. I'm gonna give this movie 3/4 of a moon.
Wow.
You see, I'm gonna push it hard. Anybody
that 25?
Yeah. I'm gonna make life difficult for anybody who's trying to actually like make the graphics of this, and they just can't copy paste when you gotta start chopping something.
If I can touch on something Lady Shasha mentioned, I think with this movie, if you stopped it halfway and you did your lines and came back, it still wouldn't work.
Yeah. You would have enjoyed it, but it wouldn't have been good.
No.
So yeah.
All right, me. I unfortunately have to go after I give my rating. Unfortunately, I apologize for that. But for this, I'm going to give it 1 moon, then shoot a missile at it and blow it up so it becomes 0 moons. So there you go.
Oh, LD, before you go.
0 for this one.
LD, before you go, let everybody in the chat and who's watching this at a later date know where they can find you. And also, I did notice that you had a show just recently. So how did that go?
It went very well. I have a solo improv show called Together by Myself. I got to do it at the Miami Improv Festival that we just brought back this year at Just the Funny. And I do that other places. You can also find more stuff on my YouTube channel, LD Madera Magic. And check out my TikTok, LD Madera Magic. A lot of fun, great magic on there and other great fun.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Hold on,
Have a
hold
good
on.
night.
LD, what do you mean by other great fun? Is it just like you eating chili for 20 minutes?
Yeah, basically.
I'm
yeah.
down. I'm down.
Thank you for that.
There you go.
down.
For that.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Later,
Bye,
buddy.
Night.
Bye.
She said, sorry.
Loves chili.
Selena said 1 out of 10. I was way too generous with my 1.5, but I mean, it's 1.5. It has to be because, like I said, they wanted it to be that, so that's what it's got to be.
No.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with the opposite direction. I think I don't think anybody. I know for a fact Full Moon doesn't want to make B movies. They don't want to make bad movies. They love genre cinema and they want to explore genre cinema, but they don't set out to make shitty movies. Nobody does. Even well.
Well, that was just what I read when I was reading about Charles Band and him after Dolls and all that. Like, I read, like, I mean, I could be completely wrong because I can read different things because it's the internet, right? As far as like him wanting to make a B movie, just making it more accessible and cheap, but still funny and wanting to watch, you know, because A-listers and all that, it's money, it's theaters, it's distribution, it's all this. So when you say, oh, I want to make a B movie, it's not necessarily bad. I don't know if you're commenting on what I said, but I'm just saying, like,
not a B movie in terms of bad. I mean, a B movie was, I mean, the term comes from like when there was double features, the B movie would be the second movie, you know. He loves that. He loves genre filmmaking and all that stuff. But I think there's a lot of care that goes into these movies, even Asylum movies. Which I've made a couple and I know them, and people surprisingly they care a lot about what they put out, regardless of what the final product is. It's hard to make a movie, especially on no time and no money. So I can't 100% say that I think they wanted to make a shitty movie. I think it's just unfortunate. Elements happen and you're stuck with this kind of movie. And yes,
and
it is
that's
a
the
shitty
thing,
movie.
you know, like movies is a lot of things have to come together, right? You could do 100% your job and still be unlucky and things not come together, right?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the people that are attached to this also, if you think about it, Ted Nicolau and C. Courtney Jr., it should have been probably a badass movie. It should have been, but
I blame the Sci-Fi Channel because they have bragged before about I made this movie in 7 days, and it's like some people can do that, some people can't do that.
I made a movie in 6 days, and I'm happy with it, but it's hard. It's not easy. And that's unfortunately that's what the B movie genre world looks like nowadays. Most companies are shooting. Full Moon is doing 5-day movies now. Wow. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. It's tough. Anyway, I'm gonna run down my quick final thoughts here. Off-brand dollar store versions of the puppets pissed me off. The puppets don't fight until the last 10 minutes. Which is disappointing, but in keeping with the rest of the franchise, because a lot of the good stuff is sort of left to the end, which sucks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, speaking of Corey Feldman, can Corey ever unironically act again? Like, can he ever do a serious role? I don't think he can. I think, honestly, after the 80s, after, post Frog Brothers, he's Corey Feldman. You know what I mean? He's Corey Feldman. He's that guy. Yeah. And he can never... Like, you'll never see him in some Oscar bait type movie because nobody will. First of all, no one's going to cast Corey Feldman in a serious role. There's just too much baggage. But I don't even know that he could actually do it or that he would want to. I think he kind of knows that he's a type and he plays to that type.
Yeah.
For better or worse. I don't agree with Julian here because I thought the demon in the Christmas suit was fucking stupid.
Junk, baby.
Why does the teddy bear make monkey noises? That was confusing me.
I saw that. I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a part in the movie where they mention that the puppets are carved out of the oak tree that has the body of Toulon. What the shit are you talking about?
More retcon, baby.
Oh my god. They were
What do
made
you
from
mean?
the black oak in a black forest or some stupid crap
like
that.
The Toulon is buried under. No, what?
No.
How's that possible if he died?
No.
It's so stupid.
God.
I don't know why it's a Christmas movie. I'm guessing that was a note from the studio. Oh, we needed a Christmas horror movie. Set it at Christmas because they didn't have
for more money.
Yeah. Holiday movies, work better. I had to turn my biker action movie into a Halloween movie, so it happens.
You did? That sounds awful.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was okay because we were doing Sleepy Hollow, so the guy had a pumpkin head, so it was kind of like, oh well, perfect, pumpkins. So it worked. It's not a good movie, regardless of what happened behind the scenes. It's an abomination.
Abomination. That's good.
And the fact that I've seen it twice is very painful.
The fact that you own it is painful.
And it's been sitting in my DVD vault for years. I've only touched it now twice. Zero Moons for this movie. It's not great, and I never want to look at it again. At the end.
I feel you.
One last thing about Corey Feldman. I'm gonna hit up the chat, and then we will wrap it up. I'll let everybody say where we can find him, and also Jose has an announcement that I think is really, really cool. But I think that deep down inside, Corey Feldman really wanted to be a rock star, but he's a better actor than he is a singer or dancer. But I think that's his true love is more music than acting. And I think that's why he doesn't focus on acting. He just does it because he can get paid that way. But I don't think he truly loves it. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the chat. The Trash Chat says, anyone recognize Melinda Clarke in it from Return of the Living Dead 3? No, which character was she? I don't know. I know Return of the Living Dead 3, but
he's probably thinking Vanessa Angel, and it's not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Vanessa Angel.
Okay, Toneman says, I give this a plumber's crack and not a full moon.
That's where.
Trash Dash says 2 out of 10. Welcome to the Dark Side says 1 out of 10. Tony T says -5 for me.
Okay, y'all. We're not going to the negative now. Let's go.
Trash Dash says at least they had 6-shooter in it. A lot of the puppet masters don't have him because he's hard to puppeteer. Yeah, I could see that. I'd love to see him as Tommy again in Friday the 13th. Yes, that actually would be kind of cool. But because they recast Tommy Jarvis twice, I think, in the Friday the 13th series. Yeah. Man, and I'm hearing that they are going with the next Friday the 13th movie. So as long as they don't do what they did in Halloween Ends.
No.
Where they recast no, it was Halloween Kills, not Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills. I didn't like that the Tommy in that one. I was like, number one, he was brown hair as a child. Like he grew up to be a blonde man. Like, no. I'm pretty sure he had brown hair and brown eyes. But now he has blonde hair and blue eyes.
No, he was blonde. Also, he was blonde as a kid.
I feel like it was well, maybe I'm misremembering. I remember
Tommy,
him. But still, I don't, and it had already had Ant-Man playing him. So like if you couldn't get him, then leave him out of the script. Just don't do that.
Right. I don't know how I feel about the Jason prequel series. Have you heard about this? They're doing a prequel series where it's young Jason at camp. And it's like and Mrs. Voorhees is alive. Yeah. Why would you make that?
It doesn't make sense because the whole impetus for her becoming how she became was because of his death.
Yeah, nothing would be happening, right? It would be uneventful, right?
Yeah.
Is it a coming of age story about Jason coming of age? It's having
maybe
a medical malformation, like.
Maybe it's just like a weird, like uncomfortable drama, like the relationship between son and mother or something.
Like Bates Motel.
Bates Motel thing,
yeah, exactly. Right, exactly.
I don't want to see that though. That's not Jason.
Yeah. No, if you want to do another sequel, just do another sequel. The Friday 13th, they're kind of the easiest sequels to do. Like Jason shows up and he kills people. Like you don't need all this extra stuff. You really don't.
Yeah.
Well, they've announced a reboot, so they're gonna go straight to rebooting it again. But Sean Cunningham is coming back to produce, and
now
so
that would be easy to do because all they have to do is say, "Oh, well, the camera's been closed for 30 years and nothing's happened, so we feel it's safe to reopen it." And then it's not. There's your movie. I want a story by credit if you do that.
A lot of times they've said they want to make a version in the
and
snow.
a check.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I heard about a Friday 13th TV show, which we already had that, but that had nothing to do with Jason Voorhees.
And nothing at all.
If anybody remembers the Friday 13th TV show.
I remember it,
Yeah.
That was good.
So let's we got two more. Well, yeah, two more comments and then we'll wrap it up. The Trash Death says Jason scared his hair blonde. And Sidewinder says Friday the 13th, the series has been airing on cable and I'm loving it. It has nothing to do with Jason and it's still epic. Yeah, it was a pretty good series.
Oh, the original. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I did not appreciate it as a kid, but when I rewatched it as an adult, I'm like, this is actually a good series. I think my mind just said I'm not watching it because it doesn't have Jason in it when I was younger, but now, So as we wrap this up, I'm going to go around and have everyone tell the audience where you could find them and also what they have coming up. We'll start with TC.
Well, I don't have a channel, so I'm usually, if anything, I'm within the MC's channel, if anything. So whenever he invites me on, I'll just jump on.
Whatever you,
And Julian?
I don't have anything set up right now. I'm working on projects for myself down the road, a little creative projects, but nothing to really point anybody into the direction of just yet.
Cool. Well, good luck on your creative project, or I should say break a leg, I think is better.
Yeah.
RainbowFRIGHT, what you got coming up?
So yes, my channel is at RainbowFRIGHT, one word. I've been just putting out a lot of shorts. I've been kind of experimenting with that a little bit. So you can expect a lot more of those coming out. And then I'm also working on a couple of video essays, working on a Nightmare on Elm Street ranking video, as well as a women in horror video, and some other little projects. But you can also find me on TikTok. My TikTok name, I always forget where the hyphen or dot is because people steal my name, but it is just look up RainbowFRIGHT. But for some reason, I'm looking on my thing right now. Let me just double check. On Instagram, it's Derae, so it's DERAERAE.
I'm going to type it in chat.
Yes, that would be awesome. And then, And then for TikTok, it's rainbow.fright. And so I said Instagram. And then on Twitter, you can find me _RainbowFRIGHT, all one word. And different platforms, I do different things. A lot of times on TikTok, I'm sharing what I'm doing on my YouTube shorts, but I'm working on just posting more just personal things so we can kind of get an insight onto the personal side of stuff. And then on Letterboxd, it is just RainbowFRIGHT. And I'm doing my best keeping up with my Letterboxd, rating a film as soon as I see it. But that is something that I've been working on for the past year because it's kind of hard to rate every time I watch a movie, but I do try my best to kind of even transfer my scripts from my YouTube to my Letterboxd in case you just want to read it versus watching, a whole video. So yeah, that is what I'm working on currently.
Sounds good. Awesome. I'll better say mine for anybody if it's your first time here, welcome. Where you been at? So I'm at Horror Freak on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And yeah, I think those are the three. And then also I do have whatdidijustwatch.com, which I do publish the written versions of most of my YouTube reviews there. Tomorrow night, I'll be on Hood Podcast. We do that every Monday. We talk about international news of the weird because every city has a hood. And on Friday, I will be on the Evil Tyrone show. We're talking about From. Later this week, I'm not sure. I have 3 videos that I'm editing right now, so I'm not sure which one will post first, but you'll definitely get at least 2 videos this week, video reviews. Now on to Jose.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good news, bad news. The bad news is this is the final episode of Full Moon Fright Club. The reason it's good news. 3 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to have a dream come true, and I had a meeting with Charles Band, and he offered me a movie, and I'll be making a Full Moon movie. Thank you. It's almost surreal to think that I could just text him right now, and the fact that I'm making a Full Moon movie. I haven't officially said what it is yet. You know what? For everyone watching, I'll leave a special Easter egg here. I'll tell you what the movie is. I am going to be joining the Puppet Master franchise, and I will be continuing the franchise in a sense. There's no script yet. We're still pinning down what we want to do with it. I have an idea of where I really want to go with it, but we'll see what happens. But Leech Woman is going to return, and I will be. I've been handed the reins of Leech Woman's return, and that's going to be the next Puppet Master movie involving her antics. As far as I've been told, it's going to take off after her death in part 2, and we're going to sort of build off of that. And for those of you who know part 2, there's a big cliffhanger at the end of part 2 that they just abandoned. And if you're a Puppet Master fan, that's one of the things you're like, whatever happened to that doll woman at the end of that movie? Well, I'm going to try and answer what happened to that, and my sequel will be a continuation of that, and I'm going to try and bridge 4 and 5. I'm going to try and fix a lot of the canon errors, but it'll be tough.
Now I gotta watch part 2, even though I never planned on watching it, but now I have to.
Yep.
So
2 is good.
Okay.
2 is a lot of fun.
And then watch 3.
And then watch 3. 3's the masterpiece.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then watch Puppet Master versus Demonic Dolls again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's rushing into production. Actually, today celebrating another thing. Today I finished my a script for my first movie this year. Amazing that I'm gonna make 2 movies in a year. It's insane. So I'm gonna be very busy this year. I just finished that script today. That goes into production in March, and then right after that, I shoot Puppet Master in Ohio. So my YouTube's gonna be kind of a ghost town. Unfortunately, I don't have time for YouTube, but I'll be around. I'm gonna try, Tony.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But so that's why Fright Club is Full Moon Fright Club is gonna disappear because I don't feel comfortable reviewing the movies of the company I'm working with.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
this team will reunite for something. We haven't pinned it down yet, but we have should we throw out some ideas here? See if the chat wants to suggest some stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, we were thinking, at least I was doing guilty pleasures, where every episode, whoever's the host will pick 2 movies that they love, but are for the most part either considered crappy or awful. But there's something about it that particular person loves, and then sharing it with the panel and getting their interpretation. So we're thinking of doing one of those guilty pleasure shows. Do you guys have any other ideas? Anybody in the panel?
I like the guilty pleasure shows.
But that sounds good though, yeah.
Okay, so most likely we'll do a guilty pleasure show. If anybody in the chat has any ideas, toss it our way. But we're putting the sun is setting on Full Moon. Jester, I don't like Jester. I ain't touching. I ain't touching Jester.
You just lost Tony, man.
Sorry, Tony. They may bring him back. I don't know, but I'm not touching. I'm not touching Jester. Oh, I will say, I'll give you some inside knowledge. The movie before Leech Woman is a standalone Jack in the Box movie. So we're gonna get another Demonic Toys spinoff, kind of like Baby Oopsie.
Don't forget his rattle.
I'll make sure that they put that in there. Make sure it's like that's like his wiener, bro. You got to keep that in there.
I already know, lady, but I won't say. I don't know what that means.
Guilty pleasure. I think he knows your.
My knows my guilty pleasure. Okay, bring back Quarry in Leech Woman.
too much work, and he charges too much for all that. So, but yeah, so that's what's going on with me. That's what's happening with the panel. We're shifting gears. It's not canceled. I love this team so much, and DeRay just joined, so we don't want to say okay, bye. You know, and we want to make sure that we keep it going, but we're gonna just duck and move and find something else to explore in the world of cinema.
It's gonna be fun regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
And with that, I thank everybody for coming on. This went so well. I'm so relieved.
Yeah, this was really fun.
Yes, definitely. And thank you to the chat. Thank you so much for coming through. You guys were great. I love how interactive you are. That is what's up. And with that, I will say good night.
Peace, everybody.
Good night.
Hey.
Turn it down.